Hello everybody, this is John Doe for doing today another video. So as you can see, I'm showing you guys a bunch of cards right here, and I'll explain why. These are the cards or changes I want to make to the current ban list. So I've been in this ban list, in this format, for about a month, and so far I have no complaints really, but there are quite a few things I feel like should be changed to either slow down certain decks or speed up other decks that kind of deserve it. So, and you guys are thinking, why are you, John Doe, why are you making so many ban lists? I mean, well, you know what? This is not the ban list. This is what I feel like should change of the ban list. And this is 100% opinion, so if you guys start getting angry at me, this is like the worst ban list ever, and I had someone actually just randomly say this is the worst ban list or whatever on one of my previous videos, and I'm like, this is not my ban list. So this is also not my ban list. These are just certain cards I feel like should change. Like either they banned, semi-limited, limited, or out of the ban list. So let's get started. First off, we have Black Cluster Soldier on the beginning. I put it at 0 because for the longest time, it just really deserves to be a 0. First of all, it's stronger than Trishula. Second of all, it's easier to summon than Trishula. And really, all you really need to have is Chaos Sorcerer. Really, just to... So, this is my proposal. I feel like we should ban Black Cluster Soldier on the beginning and put Chaos Sorcerer to 3. Last format we had 3 Chaos Sorcerers and a Black Cluster Soldier on the beginning. What was wrong with that? Well, we had a lot of Chaos decks. But if we just banned Black Cluster Soldier on the beginning and we bring back Chaos Sorcerer, then I just feel like it'd just be much better and the Chaos deck would be a little more fun. At least put Chaos Sorcerer to 2. But this is just what I feel like should happen. Next card we Stratos. I believe this card should be banned because of one thing. It can OTK with just one other card. So here's the OTK. You summon Stratos. You put Bubbleman to your hand. You set everything else. Let's just say you have nothing but spells and traps. And then you special summon the Bubbleman. You Exceed Summon for Blade Armor Ninja. And then you detach the Stratos, special summon it, and let's just say you have a Monster Reborn. You special summon Stratos. You put Bubbleman to your hand. Special summon Bubbleman. Exceed Summon for another Blade Armor Ninja, and then you get 8,800 damage right there. That's why Stratos should be banned, in my opinion. Then we have Exodia. I really want to, in my kind of ban list, I just want to get rid of those decks that play by yourselves. I don't want to play against someone who's playing with themselves, really. I think that's kind of gross. I'm just saying. So, this is my goal for this ban list. I want to slow down OTK decks, get rid of cards and decks that just play that by themselves, and yes, I'm banning Final Countdown, Merp you mother merpers. That's even worse than Exodia, in my opinion, because you had to stay there for nothing, and I'm a Gladiator Beast player, so I can't attack. It's so annoying, okay? It's annoying. Okay, so, and also just speed up some other decks that are not weak, and should be just a little stronger. So then we have, for the spells, Gateway to the 6. This card is the same, I'm banning this card for the same reason as Stratos, because this card can OTK, and this is not my idea. I didn't believe this card should be banned before, but Asian Wise for Dragon, convinced me that this card should be banned, because you activate this, and this is basically like last format when Chaos Dragons had their Future Fusion. If you saw that card, a lot of people just gave up right there. With the same thing happens with the Gateway of 6. You just give up because there's no point of playing at that point, really, because they're just gonna win if they know what they're doing. Especially the way Asian Wise Dragon does it. He discards your opponent's your entire hand, or whatever. That's really annoying. Final Countdown, already discussed that. Mind Control, I feel like should be banned because really this card, there just shouldn't be any cards that allow you to take your opponent's monsters. Really, sorry, I'm still kind of sick. So I just feel like Mind Control is so versatile. Yeah, you can't tribute it for a tribute summon. Is that correct? This card cannot be... Okay, cannot be tributed, but and the monster can't attack, but that's really not a problem for the most part, because you can just synchro with it, Exceed Summon with it, you can use this effect with it. This card is too good. Then, Monster Reborn. This is my newest belief to change the ban list. I feel like Monster Reborn should be banned, and we should bring back Premature Burial at 1. And you're probably throwing your computer for some apparent reason. Well, here is my proposal for this one. I feel like Monster Reborn is much better because you can just choose either graveyard, special summon any monster that was summoned correctly, at least, and you're allowed to special summon it, and then that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't attach it. While with Premature Burial, you have to sacrifice 800 life points, and you can always summon one monster from your graveyard, I believe. Yes, your graveyard. And yes, you can use this card, like, reuse it, like, some people say, like, you can use Brionic to put in your hand, but Brionic is banned. There's only one other card that I can think of right now that can bring back cards from your field, and that's Zephyros. So that's my proposal. I feel like Premature Burial should come back because it's basically like a Call of the Haunted. Only you can use it this turn. But Call of the Haunted is at 3, and I think, in my opinion, Call of the Haunted is just much better because you can use it on either turns. You just have to set it for a turn. But you don't have to sacrifice 800 life points. So if you have low life points, you can't even use Premature Burial. So that's why I think Premature Burial come back and Monster Reborn banned. Next card would be Pot of Avarice. This card is like a Pot of Greed on crack because you can reuse your deck. You can control what you have in your graveyard. You can, for instance, here's just a strange situation. You have Grand Soil in your hand, or you have Dark Arm Dragon in your hand. You have either 8 Darks in your graveyard, or you have 10 Earths in your graveyard. Well, you know what? You can control your graveyard now because of it. That's why I feel like Pot of Avarice is bad, because you can either reuse all your normal monsters and your Dino Rabbit. You can reuse your wind-ups. You can do so much with Pot of Avarice. You can just basically revamp your entire deck and draw 2 cards, and hopefully you'll draw something. But that's a lot of cards. I just feel like this card's too good. Then we have the last, only trap in the ban list would be the new ban list would be the Return from a Different Dimension, and I feel like this card this is also one of my newer beliefs, but I feel like this card should be banned because this card alone is an OTK. So let's just say you have a bunch of banished monsters, but so is your opponent's monsters, and your opponent's using an Inzektor deck. They don't really revolve around the banished area. You activate this card. You pay half your life points, you bring back all those big monsters that were banished. Let's just say you banished a bunch of monsters, okay? That's an OTK by itself. I just feel like this card's too good. It's basically like rekindling for anything, basically, that's banished. So then we have for the limiteds. I'm not completely sure if I want to limit Grand Soil or Malinglacia. Oh, they changed his name. I thought it was Malinglace. They changed it to Malinglacia. That's interesting. No wonder I kept spelling it wrong. But I feel like you can either semi-limited or limited. Either way, I just want these cards to go a little bit down. I actually really like Malinglacia, and Grand Soil, I'm starting to like him too. But I feel like they should slow down, and we're looking to, with Grand Soil, we're looking into another Telly-Dad deck, basically. Like a Telly Grand Soil deck, Telly Soil. I feel like they should probably bring him down a bit. And then we have Snow, Unlight of Dark World. I feel like this card should be limited. I feel like this card should be like an example of Dragonfly, because you have to conserve. I want to make Snow a conservative card. I want it to make it a card that you don't just use willy-nilly, if you will. So I want this card because, really, you can use this card. You can discard it, go for another Snow. Discard it, go for another Snow. Discard it. You can fill your entire graveyard with just Snow. That's why I feel like Snow should be banned, not banned, limited. And I want Dark World to slow down just a bit because because of Snow, basically because of Snow, it's just super fast. And I just feel like it should slow down just a bit. Because in this format, Dark Worlds are basically tier 1 at this point. Right now, I don't really know what the tier list is, but I feel like Dark Worlds are tier 1 right now. And, strangely enough, today is Dark World Day, I think. I've heard something about that, I don't know. Then we have Trap Infecting Virus. This Asian Wise Dragon is not too keen on. I feel like this card should actually come back. At first, I thought it was 2, but then I'm like, I'm not completely sure it should come back at 2. Maybe just 1, just to see how it goes. Yes, there are the Atlanteans, and yes, there are some Mermails you can discard, but really, other than that, it's not that great of a card. And at 1, and if you put at this card at 1, well, that's just 1 card out of the entire deck, and there are other cards that are more powerful than Trap Infecting Virus. So that's why I think Trap Infecting Virus should come back, at least at 1. Rabbit, I feel like should either go limited or banned. I feel like it should go limited, so that way the Dino Rabbit deck is basically just gone, just forever gone. I just feel like Rescue Rabbit should just go down, and I thought Konami would have learned that Rescue Rabbit should go down, but to like banned or at least limited, but they learned from their Rescue Cat mistake, but apparently they did not. Next we have Collude. I felt like this card really shouldn't have come back, really. I mean, I suppose it could stay at 2. I just feel like cards that allow your monsters to get stronger during the damage step, which you really, there's hardly anything you can do in the damage step except some certain cards can do things in the damage step, but you can only basically just change the attack or defense in a damage step. I don't know, I guess this card could stay at 2. I just feel like I don't really think Black Lanes should be a little stronger. I don't know. It's just my opinion. Then we have Tour Guide at 1. I really feel like this card could go to 1, but I suppose it could also stay at 2. I just feel like this card should actually stay at 1. I've already talked about Premature Burial. Rekindling. This card, I am a Laval person. I actually like Lavals. They're not really one of my main decks. They're just pretty cool to use once in a while. But Rekindling, this card is way overpowered. And yes, I actually talked about it a second ago when I was talking about Return from a Different Dimension. I was referring to Rekindling. I also think Rekindling should go away because you can make Quasar with this card. You can make Red Nova Dragon with this card. You can do so much with Rekindling. There's so many possibilities with this card. But this card should just go away, please, sir. I don't know. When I see a Laval deck, I'm like, oh great, I lost already. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to be worried that Quasar's gonna come out, because usually when Quasar's on the field, you just basically lose. I mean, well, lately actually I've been winning quite a bit of Quasar decks, because actually I've been beating up Quasar. Like, even with my Firestar deck, I just destroyed Quasar more than once in a match. It was really fun. Then we have Mind Crush. Really, cards that control your opponent's monsters, like Mind Control, and cards that discard your opponent's hand or whatever, are just basically too powerful. And I just feel like Mind Control should actually go to 1. I don't know, it could go to banned one day, but really I think it should go to 1. And you can actually see the Spiritual Water Art AOE to 2. We'll talk about that later. Then we have Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. Really? Oh, sorry, this is actually a semi-limited area. I feel like this card could go to 2 because I just want to make the Ninja deck imbalance. I want to imbalance the deck. You know, all those decks that use Grandmaster Hanzo. Like, I've seen some Dino Rabbits using Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo and doing their thing still, and it looks pretty good. But I may actually make that later. But I want to make this card to imbalance. That way, they're like, kids, you know those trap cards, the ones that work with the ninjas. You tribute it or whatever, you tribute another monster, and then you get special summon a monster from your deck. Well, I just want to imbalance it. I just want to make it smaller. And this card looks a lot like Stratos, really. But I just feel like I just want to imbalance it, really. Well, with the semi-limited, I actually just basically wanted to weaken certain decks. Then we have Royal Magical Library. This card, you can Exodia with it. Use Explosion, which is an FTK, OTK kind of deck. You can Laval with this deck. Lately, there is an advanced Laval Royal Magical Library deck, which is really good, basically. It's like an Exodia deck, only with Quasar, basically. You can make 3 Quasars out of Royal Magical Library. No, that's not actually the reason why I want to make it 2. I just want to slow it down a bit. Any of those decks that just use Royal Magical Library. Then we have Burial from a Different Dimension. I'm not really sure if I want to change this card, but I just feel like it's not that great of a card, and putting it at 3 may actually push it, but I just want to put it to 2 just to see where it goes. Future Fusion. Basically, same argument with Royal Magical Library. I just want to slow down certain decks, and you can OTK with this card too, because it's some kind of burn OTK. Like, I think there's a Gustav version of it too. Then there's Miracle Fusion, and yes, I want to weaken some heroes, and I am a hero person, so you can see a hero lives and E emergency call at 3. Well, I want to make Miracle Fusion to 2 and Stratos to 0 because these are the 2 cards that are actually strong in heroes. These are the 2 cards that are actually good. I don't know. I just feel like this card is a little too powerful. Then we have Spiritual Art Aoi, and I used to use this card inside Frogs, but I got rid of it because I want to make it faster. But this card, you can look in your entire opponent's hand and then discard. And yes, they have the Atlanteans. And for some reason, I don't see this card in Atlanteans or anything, and I expected people to use this card. I guess they just forgot about it or something. But this card is really powerful. And now finally for the 3s, we have Chaos Sorcerer at 3. I already talked about this. Bestiari really should go to 3. It's been 1 for way too long. And Gladiator Beasts aren't even that powerful anymore. They're, I think, tier 2. Maybe tier 2. Really, this card at 2 or 3 wouldn't change it too much. Yes, you can probably work on the Gladiator Beast and use Bestiari, abuse it a little more with that fusion monster that works with it. I forgot it's called. Yes, you can do that, but I just don't feel like it's worth it anymore. Like, Bestiari is not that powerful anymore. Then we have Tsukumi at 3. Putting it at 1 didn't change anything, and really it's not that powerful card anymore. I just feel like it should go to 3. Debris Dragon at 3. I just feel like this card isn't that powerful anymore, and there's just so many limitations on this card. You can special summon a monster from your graveyard, yes, with 500 or less attack. The monster is negated. It can only synchro summon for a dragon type monster, and the monster you synchro summon with this card can't be a level 8. I mean level 4, I meant to say. So this card has so many limitations. It really only was weakened just to weaken the plants. So you might as well just bring it back if it's just because you want to weaken a certain deck. Which was strong then, but weak now. Then we have Summoner Monk, which they weakened this card just to weaken the, sorry, they brought this card to, I'd say weakened a lot, but they brought this card to 2 to weaken the Rescue Cat deck. Well, that's a long time ago. It was good then, but not good now. That's my argument, really. Then we have Lumina. Weaken the Light Sworns. It's not that powerful anymore. It's tier 2, yes, but Lumina doesn't, it's still good at 2. It just should be a 3, really. Card Trooper. It is a good card. I will admit, this card is really good. It's versatile. However, I feel like this card isn't good enough to be semi-limited. Same thing with Night Assailant. I'm still not completely sure why this card was even limited in the first place. Yes, you can discard it and put a Flex monster to your hand. However, I don't feel like this card is that great of a card. I mean, I really don't know how this card really is limited. You can tell me, guys, in the comment section below. Please tell me. Please say some stuff. But I still feel like this card isn't that great of a card. Anymore, at least. The Ancient of Mystery Earth. Really, today, you can't really look for very many cards to put in your hand other than basically Venus when it comes to Earth. So basically, why put it at 2? You might as well put it at 3 if really the only card people search for today would be Venus. And yes, it's a tuner, but there are other tuners. There's faster tuners. Agents use Birdman, which is a faster tuner than Earth, so you might as well just put it at 3. And TG Striker, really, they just weakened this card to weaken the TGs, but I just don't feel like this card is that great of a card anymore. People only played it at 2 anyway, so I feel like it should just go to 3. Now, Spore to 3. And here's what I want to explain. This card can only use this effect once per duel. Look at that. Once per duel. Any card that has this in their text, once per duel, should be at 3. Basically, just should be at 3. Except, there's only one exception I can think of would be the Keep It at Band, which would be, what's his name? Glow Bulb. That card, I feel like, is a little too powerful because you can special summon from the graveyard and then you can do quite a bit with it. But with Spore, since it's at 1, you might as well put it at 3, and it wouldn't change anything, basically. And a good example would be Zephyros. Again, that's another good example. This card, Zephyros, let me show you. Zephyros, I usually just do Zeph. It can only use this effect once per duel. This card has an amazing effect, too. Basically the same thing as Spore, only it's not a tuner. Only you can actually put a card to your hand. I just feel like Spore should just come back, really. Now we have Sinister Servant. Really, this card isn't that great of a card. I mean, people were thinking that this card was coming back, but it didn't come back. I feel like this card is just even weaker than Tsukiyomi because, yes, you can, do an infinite loop with Brionic, but Brionic is banned again. And this card, yeah, you can constantly use it in like decks like Fabled or anything. Like you can discard it or whatever. I don't know. I just feel like this card isn't that great of a card anymore. Then we have all 4 of the pieces of the Exodia. I feel like if you ban one piece, you might as well bring all the other pieces to 3 because they're useless now. So we have A Hero Lives. They only hit this card to weaken the OTK with the Element Heroes, which I actually discussed earlier. Then we have Book of Moon. They hit this card to 1, mostly because of the Trap Stun, which was popular back then when X-Sabers were really popular. This was just, I just heard about this not that long ago, but They hit it because this was the only out. Bookman was the only good card at the time to have something that you can do when your opponent uses Trap Stun for the big turn. So I think this card now isn't that big of a card anymore. Then we have E Emergency Call and Heretic Seal of Convocation. Really, I didn't feel like these cards really needed to be hit. I feel like they should bring back A Hero Lives, bring back E Emergency Call and Heretic Seal of Convocation because they actually hit the OTK already, just enough to stop it from being Tier 1, and ban Stratos and bring Mirror Confusion to 2. Then we have Magical Stone Excavation, which is basically a -2. First of all, any card is basically a minus by itself. There are some exceptions. I can't really think of any right now that are by itself not a -1. I think there are some exceptions. I don't know. So this card, -1 already. You discard 2 cards, -2. So that's the total of -3, and then you get a spell card, which, then you just take one of those minuses, and that makes -2. This card makes you lose so much card control. I just don't feel like it's worth having it at 2. Just because you can bring back a spell doesn't mean it's worth it anymore. Then we have Monster Gate and also Reasoning. Yes, you can use Monster Gate on your Heretics, but after that, there's not much thought put into these 2 cards. And here are my reasonings. Wow. So with these 2 cards, basically you get to summon a monster from your deck, but then you have to get rid of all your cards. Like for instance, you have to tribute this card, and then you can summon a monster that's able to be summoned. I believe reveal cards from the top of your deck, then it can be normal summoned. Yes, it has to be able to be normal summoned. So that means you can't summon Black Soldier at the beginning. So with these 2 cards, really, I just feel like it's not worth it because you lose your Blacklist Soldier at the beginning, so your Monster Reborns, your Heavy Storms, your Dark Holes, and you know what you get? You get this, Sinister Serpent. That's why I don't feel like these 2 cards are like that good anymore, really. And with Reasoning, it's even worse than Monster Gate. I mean, yes, you go minus because you had to tribute a monster, but with Reasoning, you have to be a little lucky because your opponent has to choose a card level. So let's say you're using Heretics. Then your opponent chooses level 6. Then what? What are you going to do? You lose your monsters and your spell and trap cards. It's not even good in Chaos decks because you're going to lose your Blacklist Soldier at the beginning. And that's usually what, the reason why people would put a card like this in their deck. It's not worth it, people. Not worth it. So then we have a Scapegoat. They limit this card, I think, because of Thousand Eyes Restrict. I think that's why they hit this card. Because you can use Metamorphosis on this card, on one of the tokens, and you can summon a Thousand Eyes Restrict. Now, it's not that great. Yes, you can Secret Summon with it, but Konami hit Synchro decks so much that I don't feel like it's that good of a card anymore. Then we have Xian Smoke Signal. So, let me explain my reasoning why we should bring back Xian Smoke Signal, ban Gateway to 6, and later on you'll see that I'm putting Xian, this Xian, Legendary 6 Samurai Xian, to 2. Well, here's my reasoning. I feel like this card was unjustly hit to 2. And let me just say beforehand, I am not a 6 Samurai person. I don't care for them. I don't like them that much. If I see it, I'm like, you're a noob or you're stupid. Yeah, you're either one of the two. You're either really good at it and you're stupid, or you're a noob and you net decked it. But with this card, I feel like they just basically made it slower. That's all they really did. It's not that great of a card. By itself, it's not that great of a card. I feel like cards like this, Xian Smoke Signal, Emergency Call, and Heretic Seal of Convocation aren't that great of aren't that really that great. Good enough. I don't think they're good enough to actually be simulated at all, really. So I feel like they should bring it back. So they should lose their winning condition, which is basically a future fusion in Chaos Dragons, and they should bring back cards like this. Then we have Boundless Trap Hole. I feel like this card should come back because it's basically the same thing as Dimensional Prison, only with Dimensional Prison, it's by your opponent attacking, so there's really not much they can do after that. But with Bottomless Trap Hole, people can negate it with Stardust Dragon, etc., whatever. Then we have Ojama Trio, which I think they actually hit this card to weaken the Ojama Lockdown. I don't think they actually hit this card because of Chain Burn. I'm not really sure about my stuff yet, really. But this card, I don't feel like it's that good of a card anymore. Yes, you can still use it in Chain Burn, and Ojama Lockdown. But other than that, past that, there's nothing else that's too strong, in my opinion, to keep this card still as semi-limited. This card, I just don't get it. Just don't. Why? Oh, I'm an idiot. I actually left out Pot of Duality and Primal Seed. Well, let's just say I just feel like Pot of Duality should just come back to 3. I don't know. Yes, you can use it inside setup decks like Exodia, but like, you know, I'm getting rid of Exodia anyway, so you're just might as well just bring it back. But anyway, Primal Seed. Sorry to be a drama queen, but let me read the effect for you. If Black Lotus Soldier Envoy at the beginning, or Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy at the end is on the field, target 2 of your banished cards. Add those both those targets to your hand. Why? I have never seen this card ever being used. I've never seen this in any deck. This card is completely useless. Completely useless, especially since everyone wants this card banned. Bring it back, and let me go back to my Transmigration Prophecy. This card isn't that great of a card, really. Yeah, you can bring back 2 cards, but it's not. I just don't get it. And yes, we have, and I'll give you an example that has basically the exact same effect. Pot of Benevolence. This card basically does the same thing. It does the same thing. The only difference is that it's not chainable. You can't just you can't really use this card like. A good way to use this card is to be chaining it to Monster Reborn. You know why? Because Monster Reborn has this target first, and if they lose the target, they can't special summon any monsters after that. So, you activate Monster Reborn, then, well, your opponent activates Monster Reborn, then you chain the Transmigration Prophecy. They can't special summon after that because they bring it back. That's really the only thing that's good about this card. That's basically it, really. I mean, if Pot of Avarice is at out of 1, then what's the point? Merp it. And then we finally have, let me just get rid of that. Then we finally have Wall of Revealing Light. I think this card was hit to weaken the Explosion deck, which is a, let me just show you it. This card was also limited, which I think they could state this one at 1. But anyway, they hit this card basically because of this, because this card, and some other card made you win right there. I think that's what happened. So really, this card's only good in play by yourself decks like Exodia. Well, not really. This card's good for decks like the Explosion deck and the Self-Destruct deck, which I don't think either are really that great of decks anyway. Then we have the cards that are Fusion, Synchro, and XYZ decks. This card, Shooting Quasar, Mother Merpin Dragon. Get rid of it. I don't want these Mother Merpin Dragons on my Mother Merpin field. Get it out of the field. I think this card should be banned. Same thing with Rekindling at 1. Then we have Blade Armor Ninja at 1. I feel like this card should go to 1 because of the getting OTK stuff like that. I already talked about Trishula. I already talked about Xian. Lauren. This card was hit because of a Future Fusion deck that was able to either abuse Trishula to banish cards from your opponent's hand or summon Quasar Dragon. They don't have Future Fusion anymore. Bring it back. Then we finally have TG Hyper Librarian. Oh yeah, by the way, no one's going to be using it. Then we have TG Librarian and Foremost Synchron. These 2 cards I feel like should come back to 2 at least, because if we ban Shooting Quasar Dragon, these 2 are slow enough to 2, and these cards are also unjustly hit because people are complaining about these cards. I don't think they should have done that. And then we finally have Thousand Eyes Restrict. This card, there's no more Future Fusion, there's no more Metamorphosis. You must bring this card at 3 because it's completely useless now. You can't even summon this card except Polymerization, I think. That's about it. And Super Polymerizations in some small cases. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm sorry that I messed up a lot. I need some water. If I talk for like 30 minutes like this, and I think it's like almost 30 minutes, like 25 minutes maybe, I kind of like... I can't talk very well. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.